the background is a little weird. I'm in my car, so I'm doing a voiceover over this so that you guys don't have to hear me cough. You're welcome in advance. Jeez. Anyways, it's early as frick, so it's like 6 a.m. So I know like normal people get up at this time, but I do not. I get up at like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock sometimes. But anyways, today I wanted to talk about how I found creativity to fuel my self-worth. I feel like growing up I was never really creative. It wasn't something that I think I really had time for nor found interest in, creating things. I mean, like, I feel like you create things even when you're not trying to, you know? I feel like creating is so human and it's not something that you just can avoid doing, you know? It's kind of like in our nature as humans. It's to like create, you know? Like I'd create little worlds in Minecraft or create little fantasy worlds in my head, you know, to like escape what I was going through when I was younger, you know. But I feel like creativity really found me after I went through a really tough time in my life. I started crocheting more, I started drawing more, I started writing songs, I learned how to play the ukulele. I just started, what I tried to focus on, I had just gotten out of a really bad relationship, one that taught me so many things, and I'm grateful for the experiences and the path that it led me down in the future. But I think that looking back on it in the present, it was definitely a growth opportunity that I was given. I learned a lot about myself, and I feel like it really led me to try to find my self-worth, because I never wanted to be put in that situation ever again. It taught me how to stand up for myself. And so I feel like creativity really found me, and self-expression really found me when I was at that point in my life where I felt like I didn't have my back anymore, where I knew that I needed to start trusting myself, where I needed to start showing up for myself and the world around me, and in the things that I create and the things that I put out there and the things that I say. And I think what stops me a lot growing up trying to be creative is that things don't just come to you like that. Things aren't perfect. Things aren't exactly how you imagine them to be. So when things aren't how you imagine them to be in your head, you get kind of discouraged. It's like a little bit of perfectionism. You have to look at what you've created and be like, this is beautiful. Like, you can't hold yourself to that perfection, because perfection isn't real. And creativity is a form of self-expression. And newsflash, not everyone's perfect, and that's okay. Like, I feel like there's beauty in the fact that we're not perfect and we're all so unique in our own ways, you know? And creativity just really, I feel like, gave me an outlet. I first started off with drawing, and I am not an artist. I will be the first person to admit this. I'm not an artist. Like, I would go on Pinterest to find motivation for how I was feeling, and a lot of the time how I was feeling was like sad and dark, or it was these, I'll insert pictures if I can, of some of the drawings that I did. I don't think I have very many pictures, but I created a whole little art wall of all my drawings that I did, because I wanted to see the world reflect who I was and how I felt. And I wanted to be reminded of how I felt and who I was, even if who I was sad, because I wanted to recognize my sadness. Sorry, there's a car that pulled into the parking lot that I'm in. But I wanted to recognize my sadness and sit with my sadness and my pain, because the only way that I felt, what works for me, is that seeing the world reflect how I felt was calling like recognition to how I felt. And that helped. If I felt more understood by myself, I felt like I understood myself, and my art was a product of me understanding myself for the very first time. Growing up, I never felt like I got the chance to really know who I was. And I feel like after this relationship and after all the struggles that I had gone through, seeing my artwork made me understand myself a little bit better, even if myself wasn't pretty at the time. It was very sad, and I had a lot to say. I would draw stuff and then write little poems on my drawings, because whenever I would feel sad or feel good, I would go back and I would look at them and I would read them, and I would be like, yeah, like that is how I feel, and that's okay. Like I can be happy and still feel this way, you know? And so I started off drawing, and then I wanted to try painting. So I'd put on headphones and I'd listen to music, and I'd put on a tutorial on YouTube of what to paint, and I'd follow it. And a lot of the time when I had to like really feel like this urge of like, I want to create. Like I want to create something. I feel misunderstood. I feel really connected with myself. I want to create something that I can see visually, and I want to be surrounded by my art. I want to see the reflection of who I am around me constantly, so that I can be aware of who I am, what I need to change, what I need to work on, and what is already so perfect about me that I can keep on living this way. And so I would just put on headphones and listen to music and really feel when I was painting. The thing that I love about painting is that it's so smooth, you know? Like when you paint, like you know those videos of people painting and it's just like just them painting and them in the zone. I felt like painting really did feel that way. Granted, it was a little bit harder to get over perfectionism with painting, just because I'm not the greatest at painting. But I learned a bunch of new skills while painting, so that was beautiful as well. And I feel like with painting, I kind of developed, I felt more enchanting. I felt more magical when I painted, because I don't know why. It was drawing, I felt more like my sadness was expressed through my drawings. And sometimes my creativity, like just being creative, and you know, there was no sadness or happiness behind it. It was just a drawing. And even the simplest drawings can tell you so much about yourself, you know? But painting for me felt like, it really felt ethereal. I think that's how you say it. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it felt like magical to me. And then I started crocheting, and crocheting was so hard at first, let me tell you. It was so hard. But I feel like with crocheting, I was so happy when I found it, to be able to take a piece of thread and just weave it into something physical, tangible that you can hold. It felt so good, and it still feels good. It feels amazing. I can't believe that I can do stuff like that, and I'm so proud of myself for sticking with it even when it was hard. But I'm proud of myself for sticking with it. Next, growing up, I always wanted to learn how to play an instrument. Like, I used to listen to people's covers and stuff and pretend like it was me singing and like I was on stage in front of a whole audience and singing this song. So I really wanted to learn how to play an instrument, but I didn't want the instrument to be super hard. And let me tell you, ukulele. Why is that so hard for me to say? The ukulele is pretty hard. It's pretty hard. But I know about 4 or 5 chords, maybe 6 chords on a good day. And I play those 6 chords over again. Because you know what? What I've learned though about music is that I feel the best way to get out feelings in music is to really let the vibe, like you have to build a vibe, you know, when you're playing. You have to build a vibe. You have to have the music feel a type of way, feel the way that you want your audience to feel, and then your lyrics have to match that. Which I don't think my songs really make anybody feel a certain type of way. I don't feel like my music holds that emotional currency that most like big songs carry, but that's okay because I'm not a big artist. You know, I'm learning and I love my songs. I feel like my songs are a little reflection of me, and it's awesome to like hear songs after a while, like of forgetting about them and hearing them again. It's awesome. I used to be an addict, and when I was trying to get sober, I decided that I had never really had my back, and I think that's what led me to be an addict, was that I didn't love myself the way that I should have loved myself, and I didn't trust myself, and I had little to no self-worth, and it really put me in situations that were big learning experiences, let's just put it that way. And I decided that I wanted to focus on myself after I got out of a really big learning experience of a relationship. I decided I wanted to focus on myself, find who I was, find what made me happy. So I started creating a lot. I drew, I painted, I crocheted, I learned how to play the ukulele, I started writing songs. I started my YouTube channel, which I actually, in my very first YouTube channel, I sat down and I kind of explained what I wanted my channel to be about. And I wanted my channel to be about my growth, documenting my growth and who I am as a person, and watch myself evolve. Because looking back on old videos and looking back on videos even now, I can see how I've evolved, and you know, it's a good reminder to myself that growing isn't a constant up. It's an up and a down and an up and a down and an up and a down. It's I don't know what to say. It's not linear, you know. I think that's how you say it. But I watch my videos even now, and I can see myself, like when I'm being more authentic, when I'm being more vulnerable, when I'm a little shy and closed off, when I'm not in the mood to do it. Like I can see all that. But that's why I really wanted to start doing YouTube, was because I wanted to document my growth as a person, and for myself, like in 5 years from now, I want to look back on my first video and make myself smile because of who I was, and realize that I'm just a human being. Like, I'm literally just a girl. Literally just a girl learning about life and going through life and learning about myself. But yeah, so that's why I started YouTube and all these creative hobbies that I love doing, and it's really helped me. Some things that I've learned about myself through creating was that I feel like I've always felt kind of misunderstood. And maybe that's not because people actually misunderstood me. Maybe it's because I've just misunderstood myself this whole time. And I never really knew exactly where my pain stemmed from. And I still feel like I don't. But creating helps me identify where I've been hurt, where I've hurt myself. What still hurts me after 20 years of living, things that I haven't dealt with, things that happened when I was a child that I haven't dealt with. And it's nice to just voice that in my art and not have anybody tell me how I should be feeling. Not have anybody tell me, like, my art feels so sacred to me because my art is a safe place for me. I can choose whether or not I get to share that information with other people. And I tend to usually share that information with either people that, one, I trust with my whole heart and with people who I know have my back. And two, when I'm ready to share it. Like when I feel like I will have my back if somebody comes to me and tells me that my emotions are invalid. If my art, because my art is really, it feels like my emotions. My art feels like how I emotionally process how I feel. So, and growing up, I feel like a lot of the times I was told that how I felt was wrong, which really led me to like not trusting myself. And, I feel like I'm learning to trust myself again through my art and expressing how I feel in my art. It's also kind of felt like, it's also kind of helped me find my identity in a way, because I'm able to see what I resonate with, I guess, what I love doing, you know? And I've realized that I love working on myself. And I don't know if this stems from like wounds or not, but I genuinely enjoy bettering myself emotionally, because although it really sucks, like in the moment to feel really, really, really sad, it's the feeling of turning that pain into a beautiful expression of myself is so healing, because I can look at my pain and say, that's beautiful. My pain is beautiful, because although it hurts, it's who I am, and who I am is beautiful. And that's just something that I love about creating, is that I can turn my pain into beauty and realize that pain doesn't always have to be a negative thing. It hurts and it sucks to deal with sometimes. When you're actually feeling that pain, it sucks and it hurts and it's dark, you know? But it's so liberating to let yourself feel and to validate how you feel, because how you feel will never be wrong. Like, it could be the smallest little thing. You are valid to feel that. Like, if you feel a certain way, you can't change the way you feel. You feel that way for a reason. Discover why you feel that way. Process why you feel that way. You know, I feel like emotions are pathways and insights to who you are as a person, and it's important to explore those even when it's hard. And I want to encourage whoever's watching this to explore your own creative voice, to explore who you are, even if who you are is painful, if who you are is hurt, if who you are is sad or angry, or happy. Explore yourself, be creative, look at how your art reflects who you are as a person back at you, and appreciate your art, appreciate who you are, appreciate your creative expression. Okay, I love you guys. You guys get a big ol' heart, mainframe heart. I just winked at y'all. Big heart. Explore your creative expression. I love you guys.